This book was bad enough to put me off the entire genre of general fiction for the rest of my school years, so I would advise any teachers who happen to read this to refrain from subjecting your students to this book. Welcome back, book burners. We're looking at top reviews of popular books you either burn by or burn through. My name is Ben. Let's dive in. Today's book is Holes by Louis Sachar. With an overall rating of 4.01 stars on Goodreads and 1.3 million reviews, let's jump in with the 1 star. When people wonder why children aren't reading as much anymore, they usually blame whatever new technology is popular at the time. My theory? They're forced to read truly awful books during elementary school. I'm of the opinion that people should read things that they are interested in rather than things that are ostensibly important and meaningful, according to that arbitrary and irrelevant construction known as the Western canon. For me, the idea that one should receive moral guidance strikes me as highly puritanical, and is thus a highly suspect idea. The concept of reading for any reason other than personal amusement is honestly baffling to me. However, it seems that many of those who design school curriculums have taken this to heart to the detriment of their students. This book was bad enough to put me off the entire genre of general fiction for the rest of my school years, so I would advise any teachers who happen to read this to refrain from subjecting your students to this book. In fact, being forced to dig holes would probably be more pleasurable than reading this. I can't figure out if it was intentional that a book about people being tortured by being forced to dig holes was torturous and full of plot holes, but I suspect it wasn't. 2 stars. The girl with the Sagittarius tattoo says, "Once upon a time, Shia LaBeouf wasn't reviled. He was a cutesy kid actor, and if it hadn't been for that old Disney movie Holes, I would have never picked up this book." All in all, the book won a bunch of awards, but it was just as dull as the movie. 3 stars. Kaya says, "I can't say anything bad about the book, but I wish I'd been in Zero's head rather than Stanley's. I got nothing against Stanley, he's an excellent narrator, but Zero was so silent all the time I wanted to know what he was thinking about when he was blankly staring at everyone around him. He had so much potential, and I wonder if he could have given the story a fresh angle." 4 stars. Jay Alexander says, "Somehow a book can be published, win a whole bunch of major awards, even be made into a movie, and you can still be unaware it exists for decades. I picked up Holes on a whim from $1 a dozen book sale because, hey, why stop at 10 books when you could pay 'em for 12? Only to find that practically everyone in my life has fond memories of the story. This is a narrative that is having fun. Mirth despite the stakes. Recommended." 5 stars. Kristen says, "I'm not sure how I acquired this book, and it was one that I hadn't read as a kid. I suggested that my daughter and I read it together since we have been enjoying reading aloud at bedtime. She read the blurb on the cover, handed it back to me, and said, 'Nah.' I said, 'Let's give it a shot.' Cue a withering look. The book quickly won her over. Short chapters are perfect for bedtime reading. We never had to stop in the middle of a chapter, and most nights we read several. Final verdict? She loved it, and so did I. Apparently I am capable of choosing good books. Not that she'll remember when I hand her the next one." So there you have it. Those are some of the top reviews on the book Holes. Let me know what you thought about it in the comments and tell me which one I should cover next.